Okay, now your questions on our topic, gun control. Yes, sir.
Everybody says more regulation is the answer, but we got tons of regulations. We got regulations up the wazoo. Wouldn't awareness and education starting at an early age as far as the realm of safety goes, wouldn't that be a little more effective maybe?
I think, obviously, having graduated college, I think education is a solution in any case. If you look at when parents are talking about STDs and kids as they're becoming of age, what do schools do? They say, the kids are going to do it anyway, so let's at least make sure they know how to do it safely. I think the same rationale needs to apply to guns. I think if we introduce them to guns and gun safety early on, then we're not going to have your curious youngsters who go into dad's closet and pull out the gun. Oh, look at this.
I think things are already, people are getting a lot of education to begin with. I mean, you look at something like accidental death rates among kids, kind of the example that David was talking about. Most people probably think we're talking about thousands a year. You can go to the Centers for Disease Control website, and you'll find out, for example, in like 2006, there were maybe 22 accidental gun deaths involving children under age 10, about 54 under age 15. One is too many. But the problem that you face is that we overreact. We make people more afraid than they should be. And what happens then is that people become afraid to own guns in the home, or they lock them up so they're not readily accessible to be used defensively. And that actually leads to more deaths rather than fewer deaths.
Yes, the next questioner.
Statistically, how many people would you say who own guns and use guns use them aggressively as opposed to how many people use them defensively?
Do you have data on that?
Surveys indicate that people use guns defensively about 2 million times a year on average. Now, it turns out that about 400 to 450,000 times each year, guns are used in the commission of crimes. So people are using guns defensively about 4 to 5 times more frequently each year to stop crime than they use them to commit crime.
Yes, sir.
I grew up with guns in the house, handguns, and I was taught the proper use of them, you know, etiquette, don't point at people, don't point at yourself, you know, simple fundamentals. How can I be assured that everyone else was trained properly, you know, how to use it? And
well, Colin, I suppose you would agree with that that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, some of the requirements for the permit to carry concealed are a joke. I mean, some states you don't even need a permit. You can just do it. I think owning a gun to protect yourself in your home is your constitutional right. Bringing that gun concealed into public around is not a right. It's a privilege to those who meet requirements.
But look at the numbers. Point to a state. I mean, these states keep very detailed records. You can go, a lot of them have it on websites. They can tell you the behavior of permit holders. Did they lose their permits? Why did they lose it? And you find, Florida, for example, between October '87 and May 31st of this year, they had given permits to about 1.8 million people. Many of on average, those people had their permits renewed twice, so they had them for over 10 years. Out of all those people, 167 had their permits revoked for any type of firearms-related violation. That's 1/100 of 1%.
I think we get that point there. Yes, ma'am.
Women are very rarely the perpetrators of violent crime, but very often the victims of violent crime or threatened with violence. I'm wondering, even for those who are for more regulation, do you think there possibly should be a distinction between men and women owning guns?
I think
wow, that's interesting.
I think women benefit much more than men do from having guns. And the reason is pretty simple, is that you're virtually always talking to the male criminal doing the attacking, and the male criminal attacking
So what she's saying, we should have gun laws that are much tougher on men? Women we just give guns to, and men...
maybe we should subsidize women having guns or something, but...
well, I mean, look at me. Nobody's going to rape me. I mean, I assume women are more likely to be raped. And so I definitely think women should educate themselves and arm themselves because they're at a greater risk and they are at a greater need for defending themselves.
Well, we're out of time here. David, Colin, John, I thank you all very much. If you want to join our show, you can get tickets. Go to my webpage, johnstossel.com. Thanks very much.